Okay, everyone, please use my tape. I have a special tape which will not stick to which will not leave a residue. So you can now stick your stuff in the flame 1/4 of the wall here. Use my tape, use my tape.
Marag, tapat mo ba?
You printed. Do you use publisher? Speaker? What group is this? I actually thought it meant homeless. What group is this one? This one is deep. Okay, so everyone, please get a copy of the peer evaluation form here. Now, I think there's a group with 6 members, right?
Yes.
Five, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of you. So I only have enough space for 4. So for the last member, please put it in the back. All right? Thanks. So please fill up this peer evaluation form and give it to me at the end of the session. Okay, so let's begin with the order of when we will be dependent, which would be Paris, then emotional damage, and then emotional, and then homies, and then girly pops. Okay, let's start with Paris.
Good morning, everyone. We have tools and tips and tricks that will be useful for management 190 or strategic management. Before we start our discussion, we would like to inform you that we have divided the tools and tips and tricks into 5. We have academic sources, we have tools, webinars, data insights, webinars, free courses, educational videos, and podcasts. Let's begin. So for the academic sources, we have recommended the following. So we use Open Athens for journal articles by institutions. We can also use SSRN for free access, publish, and some pre-published research articles. Use edit.org to acquire more relevant information on strategic management topics. We can also practice strategic thinking using Wharton Consulting Club Facebook 2017. And if you want to know if an article is peer-reviewed or not, try looking it up using the EBSCO Discovery Service, which can also be found in Open Athens. And then that's it for our academic business. Now for gathering data or insights, you can use the Business World Online to obtain recent business insights and industry and economic trends. You can also use LinkedIn to gather information from qualified people. And you can also, there is also videos available in LinkedIn about strategic management, so we can also utilize that. And another thing is you can also use Harvard Business School online for business insights and strategies. Now let's go to the tools that we are recommending to use. So first we have use Miro, Canva, Power BI for strategic planning and collaboration. Second, use strategic management insight to get information from these tools like
like the SWOT, the 5 forces, and then use Microsoft Edge to utilize vertical tabs and in-app display. And then lastly, use citation feature in Google Docs to ease referencing or utilize APA citation guides, such as the Columbia College's APA citation guide.
And next we have webinars. So here you can listen to different speakers from relevant industries related to business and strategic management. You will use Eventbrite. And next category for the free courses, we have MIT Open Courseware, so that you can take on free courses that provide notes reading and PDF files related to strategic management.
So lastly is our educational videos and podcast. So we have the Harvard Business Review channel on YouTube where you can learn about strategies and frameworks including Blue Ocean strategy and other related videos. So we also have a podcast on Spotify, HBR on strategy, where we can listen to the insights and inspiration from the world's top experts on business strategy and innovation. And we have also a podcast on YouTube, SME strategies or strategy and leadership podcast for interviews with business industry professionals.
These are all our tips and tricks, and we hope that this can be helpful.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to commend you for your non-usage of notes. Because I didn't see you looking at your notes for yourself. So next we have emotion.
Good morning, everyone. In today's fast-paced world, strategic management is not just about theory. It's about staying ahead, thinking critically, and making important decisions. The good news, there are free resources available online that can help us gain insights from top business minds, learn from real-world case studies, and develop strategic thinking skills. So we have gathered. So these are our tips and tricks. So first is to use open educational resources. So some of the best business tools in the world give away their knowledge for free if you know where to go. So these are some where we can open educational resources, but these are not limited to our. So we have MIT Open Courseware, we have Investopedia, we have DOAJ or Directory of Open Access Journals, and we have also free textbooks and YouTube tutorials. Second is to follow thought leaders, professors, industry professionals. So why just read textbooks when you can get real-time insights from the experts themselves? So where to look for the thoughts or opinions of these experts? So we have Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, and we also have Twitter. So if you know Elon Musk tweets a lot. So sa iyang mga opinions on current trends and situations. And that is enroll in MOOC or Massive Open Online Courses. Imagine learning from Ivy League professors without paying thousands of dollars. So Massive Open Online Courses provide structured, high-quality lessons on strategic management for free. So we have edX, we have Coursera, and we have UP, our very own UP Open University. Next is to listen to business podcasts. So no time to read, so no problem. Turn everyday moments into strategy learning sessions. So where to listen business podcasts? We have Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast. So we have first is the HBR Idea Cast. So HBR Idea Cast is for the latest business trend. So and next is Upward. Is the Upward is deep dives into business strategies, and Business Wars is for the corporate battles and lessons, and last is the McKinsey podcast for the strategy and insights from top consultants. So podcast allows you to learn on the go while commuting, working out, or even cooking. So last is to explore online forums or communities. Sometimes the best strategies come from discussions, debates, and real-world experiences. So as matagal kita so we have Reddit or forum. So We can ask questions and see how professionals apply strategy in real business scenarios. Yeah. So instead of just reading theories, join conversations with people who have worked in consulting firms, startups, and Fortune 500 companies. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Emotional. Now let's go with the home.
Okay, so good morning, Sergio. Good morning, everyone. In today's rapid evolving business landscape, having access to comprehensive data across various domains is crucial for informed decision making and strategic planning. The group today presents the various data that is needed for strategic management and where to find them. So first we have market and consumer data. So this involves analyzing the market size and growth, the consumers' preferences, and whatsoever. So we can in Nielsen, Statista, PwC, BTI Philippines, Google Trends, and PSA is where we can find relevant insights and statistics relevant to our desired data.
So next would be the innovation and the technology data. So tracking technology trends is essential for long-term strategic planning. And where we can find data for patents, right? If we want to search for patents, trademarks, or copyright, we can look for Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines. They have a website and they also have a headquarters in MGT. And then for TechCrunch, we look for startup and technology news in this site. And then for OECD, or Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, we can look for science, technology, and innovation outlook. And then for NSF, or National Science Foundation, we can look for US R&D and innovation performances. And for MIT Technology Review, we can look for breakthrough technology trends in this website. So for financial and economic data, where financial health and macroeconomic conditions influence strategic decisions. So we look for global economic growth forecast and country projections, and also financial trends in IMF or the International Monetary Fund website. And then for the World Bank Group, we can look for data of GDP, employment, education, healthcare, and infrastructure. And then next would be the Yahoo Finance. We can look for stock market news, public company data, and basic financial analysis. And then lastly, we can look for advanced financial data, market intelligence, and economic insights in Bloomberg.
Now, next is the talent and workforce data. So this workforce data includes employee productivity and performance metrics, skills gaps and talent shortages, employee satisfaction and retention rates, and labor market trends and salaries benches. So some free sources are first Glassdoor. So it provides company reviews, salaries, and employee insights. You can actually access this. You can create a free account to access this and see the salary data and reviews. Next is the same with PayScale and the Bureau of Labor System. It is based in US, but you can also find data from the Philippines for the Philippines and other countries. Next is the ESG data. So it includes carbon footprint and emission data, DEI metrics, and regulatory compliance and risk. Other sources are S&P Global. They offer ESG insights and sustainability ratings. You can access it. There's free reports and articles under their insights section. And the Carbon Disclosure Project. They provide environmental performance data. You can also register them there for free. And the NSCI ESG ratings and the UN Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDG of UN, it is also available on their website.
So for the risk and crisis management data, we have here the risk.net, World Economic Forum, and the Cybersecurity Ventures. So we analyze how business navigate uncertainty. So whether it's geopolitical risk, cyber threats, or regulatory changes, knowing what's coming helps businesses build resilient strategies. Hence, we have this tool for the risk and crisis management data. Next, we have the digital and social media data. We know how important digital intelligence is. So we have here the Google Analytics, the SEMrush, and as well as the Hootsuite, which help businesses track online performance, refine marketing strategies, and outmaneuver competitors as we study competitive advantage.
So last is another aspect which can be useful is the business model and value chain data, to which you can use SEM World, which
Sorry, what
gives
was that? SCM.
World, which gives us articles and overviews on revenue streams, profitability drivers, cost structure, compensation, and such. This also gives us an understanding on how value is created. So, although this is a free website, you want the more features, which is paid, but this is basically a paid website, so we can get data from. So next is scenario planning and forecasting data, for which we can use websites like McKinsey Global Institute by the McKinsey Company and the World Economic Forum, which provides future industry trends and market projections with expert opinions and different clarifying complexities. And lastly, just to add a reference management tool, since I'm sure all of you are familiar with Zotero, so every time if we gather studies or data, we can easily add these references to Zotero. It's free software which you can find in the internet plus an extension in Google. So whenever you find something that's useful, you can click the extension for Zotero and it will add to the Zotero library in your device, which can help organize your studies and articles.
Okay, thank you very much. Middle group?
So,
Any sound?
So in the vast ocean of information, simply searching isn't enough. So we have to find the right thing. So in order to find the right thing, just like how Morgan and Dory didn't just swim in the sea, but followed clues of information in order to find Nemo, we too must navigate a vast and overwhelming sea of data in order to find the right insights that we can get. And in our presentation today, we will help you find the right sources and which are freely available online and on physical copy we can buy it, and we will help you, the girly pups, in order to find the right thing.
Okay, so for the first one, we have search engines and AI models. The first one that we have here is Elicit, and it is a free AI research assistant that uses machine learning to help automate research workflows. It's very, very easy because you only have to type some keywords, and it will help you find papers that are relevant to that specific topic. Now, next is Perplexity, and it is also a free AI search engine that is designed to provide conversational, verifiable answers to user questions. It also cites sources for you to verify if the information is correct, and you can also browse trending topics in the Discover feed tab. Now, for the next one, it's PSE Edge, and it is a fully automated online software used by listed companies on PSE to submit time-sensitive disclosure reports. Now, for the online platforms, we have Business World Philippines, which is primarily focused on providing in-depth news and analysis about the Philippine business landscape. Now, Bloomberg LP is a financial media company that provides real-time and historical market information, news, and analysis, which can help you gather information about a certain company. Now, for the third one, we have Growth Design, which is a website that provides various case studies of successful companies. So this is an example of their layout. They have case studies of McDonald's, Spotify, and even GoDaddy, the new app. And it helps you kind of understand the strategies that are being employed by these companies.
So aside from the platforms mentioned, it is also important to note that leaders are readers. Can you say it with me? Leaders are readers. Can we add more energy to that? So leaders are readers. Knowledge and insight gained from reading will really help us to stay ahead of the curve, and also to allow us to make informed decisions and formulate strategies to really drive innovation and growth. So, for example, we have here books such as No Rules, Templates, and the Culture of Reinvention by Reed Hastings and Eric Mayer. 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. So these books can really add to our understanding about strategic management and how to become a leader in the industry that we are in. And so the question here is, where can we get these books for free? Don't worry, because at Library Genesis, also known as LiveGen, you can get any book, anytime, anywhere. So what are you waiting for? Next, we also have the podcast, and podcasts that we can recommend include McKinsey and Company, Entrepreneurs on Fire. So these podcasts are really great because you can gather information or insights from various industry experts, leaders, and even corporate or CEOs that will share about their experiences and how they were able to really navigate and become successful over the years. Next, we also have TED Talks. So if you go to YouTube, just type TED Talks about strategy, and it will come up many talks about these. So we have here one example include Martin Reeves, Your Strategy Needs a Strategy. So if you want to learn more about strategic management, just go to YouTube, type these things, and you can access all these videos for free.
Now, in the world of strategic management, the real business scenarios often mirror the high-stake and decision-making strategic interaction found in this competitive game. We have the series Devil's Plan, which is a South Korean competition where 12 contestants, including celebrities, pro players, intellectuals, compete in mind games and strategic battles to win a grand prize, which is similar to Squid Game. And we also have Escape Room. So you may ask, is this free? Yes, can borrow my Netflix account. We on have movies, borrow my Netflix account. Now you might ask what's the relevance of course first competitive strategy, and also we have game theory and strategic interaction. And we also have resource allocation, which is part game here in Devil's Plan. I recommend this series because in a world of competitive, how would you survive? And then we also have game simulation. So beyond entertainment, of course, strategic management can also be practiced and refined through simulation. So first we have Virtuonomics. So Virtuonomics is a business simulation game that immerses players in realistic economic environments, and where they can manage and virtual companies and compete in dynamic markets. So I have tried it. I have tried this last time, and it is very helpful, especially for those business owners, startups that want to, have grasp on economics and business. And lastly, we have ReachUp.ai, which is recently found out by our friend group because it is very similar to Monopoly, and you know how to play Monopoly. It is free. You can play with bots. You can team up with other players. With Monopoly, it provides, or it grapples you to the idea that how do you manage, how do you trade, what is your strategy to win. So that is all for our final game.
Now for the last part of our presentation, I will give 2 pieces in order to build the puzzle that we have here. So I'll give the 1 piece to Mika and to James, and can you please attach those to the part of the fish, and in order to complete the last part of our presentation. Okay, so let's take a look. This forms a fish, right? And take a good look into our fish, which has the Professor Yu, because we, the girly buff, believe that no resource is more important than our professor himself. And all of these resources are important. We believe that the true learnings we will get all of it from Professor Yu. And with that, let's make the most of this course and let's continue finding the right things. Thank you.
Minor correction, I'm not going to be the major source. You're going to do all of these, references evening.
You're our source of inspiration.
Although, if I were to say who provided the best sources, I would say this moment. It's just a shame that all of you were just reading your phones, and then a lot of you actually, when you were presenting, you were just moving around and fidgeting like that. That's something you guys have to be careful of once you start, working. You need to be confident, even if you're not. You need to pretend you're confident. You should minimize the need to fidget. Don't move. Okay, so please take down your visual aids and let's get ready for part 2. Okay, thank you for sharing your tips and tricks, and now it's time for me to share mine. But before that, everyone please take note of the group evaluation form. So kindly go to this Google form and then basically evaluate the other groups here. As if you recall, your evaluation will be 30% of the grade, and then my evaluation will be 70%. Okay? So the URL is sqy.co/find-stuff. You can do that later. You don't have to do it right now. Okay? Now, 4% of what you see on the internet can be directly accessed from search engines like Google or Bing, meaning if I click on it, right, I can immediately access it. What about the other 96%? What do we call that? Deep web, right? The 4% is the surface web and the 96% is the deep web. The deep web is closed off from casual surfers and can only be accessed with the right credentials, meaning it's behind a password. Example, can you access your grades online? Miss. Yes, right? You can. Can you access her grade online? No, but it's online. It's protected by a password. So that's an example of what you need when I say right credentials. Things like this includes academic information, medical, legal records, scientific reports, conference proceedings, company intranets. When you start working, let's say you go to a BPO or you go to a company like Amazon or something else, they would probably have an internal database for employees to access, which you cannot access outside of the intranet. But it's still accessible online if you are on the right place, right? So again, that is closed off. It's deep web. Of course, there's also non-text items, because when we search, we use text. But if I use text to search, can I then find results which is in the form of a video or in the form of a podcast? No, okay, let me rephrase. You say something in a video. Can I then type something and then it will find that video? No, because you need to transcribe it, right? So because of the need for conversion to text, this is also part of the deep web. Casual people cannot find it, but it's still there. You just need to know where to look, and then maybe you get lucky. Because I think, which groups? I think there was a group here and a group there that recommended podcasts, right? You can only access the dark web, however, if you have the right tools. Content found here can be highly illegal. How illegal are we talking about? Let's just say you can buy all sorts of things. Yeah, all sorts of things that would have gotten you killed in the previous presidency. But I think now it's safer, right? Because our president right now do not hate drugs. Well, that's what you're saying is potentially slanderous. But what I'm saying here is that you can find things on the dark web. On the dark web only if you have the right tools, and these things are not necessarily legal. The most popular of these tools that allow you to access the dark web, and I'm not going to teach you how, it's up to you to educate yourself, is Tor, Tor, the Onion router, Freenet, and I2P. Only using these tools can you then start accessing whatever is in the dark web. Like maybe you can hire an assassin to kill someone you hate, right? I think it's 100,000 deposit, and then another $100,000, not pesos, another $100,000 after they do the hit. Really, there's a lot of stuff out there. Okay, now in terms of Strama, what are the types of data that we have to gather? The first type of data you are interested in is company level data. So this reminds me, I'm going to post on the Facebook group for you to kind of like reserve your company that you're going to study, right? So you need to make sure that the company that you choose, you can find stuff. Because if you choose something that is hard to find stuff, well, that's your problem, right? I'm going to allow it, but that's going to be your issue. So what type of data do we look for? Because we are outsiders, we're trying to research about the company. First type of data is strategy statements, things like their mission, vision, and values, which you will usually find on their website if they have one. Second is their financial performance. So meaning the balance sheet, income statement, cash flow, and the notes to the FS, which you guys are in finance, so you should be quite familiar with. There was one group who mentioned Edge, right? PSC Edge, and then the equivalent to PSC Edge is the US EDGAR. EDGAR. Did any group mention EDGAR here? No? Okay. So it's a repository where you can find the financial statements of publicly listed companies. Now, how about operational performance? These are things like how the company is doing in terms of its efficiency. You are interested in that because we are going to use that as a basis for our recommendations, right? As well as our analysis. However, this one will probably be a bit more problematic because companies are not required to disclose their operations. They're not. They're only required to disclose their financials. So this type of data, although desirable, is also a bit challenging to get, but you can usually get it by looking at, magazine articles, interview with the CEO, and other studies like that. Now, how about HR? Why are we interested in HR? I'm going to argue that many companies will say, our number one asset is our people. Do you agree? But do they actually act like that? That's what they say, but is it what they do? So the thing is, if you are only relying on what they say, right, you're going to present a misleading picture of the actual situation on how they're treating their people. So because of that, ideally, we would also like to have some data on how they're treating their people. But that's a bit hard since we are outsiders. We don't know how they treat their people, right? So that's the type of challenge, right, that you have to consider when you're looking for data. Now, how about for industry level data? What do we want to know? We want to know who the competitors are and how they are doing. Number two, if possible, we want to get the industry ratios because we want to compare the industry ratio against the company ratio, right? In order for us to make a judgment on whether this is favorable or unfavorable, because the company's ratio by itself does not tell you that much. You need to know the industry's ratio. For example, if I tell you that company X has a current ratio of 0.9, is that good or bad? Current ratio. Correct, right? It depends on the industry. Some industries you might need to be more liquid. Other industries you don't need to be quite so liquid. So again, it's very hard to say just basing on the company itself. You need to look at the industry, but this is easier said than done. Where are you going to get industry ratios, right? Other than, you study the entire industry and then you calculate the ratios, which of course you can do that. And then industry outlook is how the industry is going to evolve and change. Finally, we also want to look at the country level data because all companies operate inside a country, right? So whatever happens to the country is going to affect the company. So things like economic indicators such as gross domestic product, employment, and inflation is very important. Because if inflation increase, right, do you expect a good time or a bad time? Inflation increase, good or bad? It depends on what. No, you're a company. You remember, we're studying companies, right? So let's say there's inflation, right? How would that affect the company? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Oh, really? What type of product would be good? Give me an example. Okay. But your argument is not about inflation, but it's more on whether it's a necessity or a luxury good, right? Which in economics, you're talking about the elasticity of demand. Yeah, we integrate economics here. So the answer is, of course, it depends. It depends on how much the inflation is. If it's 10%, is that good or bad? 10%. That's not good. Good. Do you want deflation, which is the opposite of inflation? No, deflation is bad. So you cannot say inflation is bad. You cannot also say inflation is good. It depends on how much, right? So you also need political and demographic data. Like right now, who's the president in the US? I would not have believed it that they elect him again, but they did. So he's the president for 4 years, right? So now when you analyze a company, you have to consider, okay, what's Trump going to do for these 4 years? How's this going to affect the US, right? Because your company is a US company. And then the demographic data is you're looking at the population as well as the composition of the population. Like, are we homogeneous or heterogeneous? So for example, if I were to ask you in the Philippines, is it a homogeneous population or heterogeneous? So what does heterogeneous mean? It means that there's a lot of people from different races. What's your answer? Yes or no? Homo or hetero? Philippines. Philippines generally homo. Right? Mostly Filipinos, a few Chinese Filipinos, me, but mostly Filipinos, mostly same culture. In US, it's different. You got the whites, you got the African Americans. You cannot call them blacks anymore. Because, before we're racist, we can call you yellow, right? Yellow means Asian, brown means, South Asian, black means African, white means you're European, and then red means you're Native American. Now, no more, right? Now you can only say African American, Latino. Yeah. So that is very relevant to your strategic analysis. It forms part of your puzzle, right? So that's why we also want to look at country level data. So first, let's look at what we have in UP. So UP's access to digital resources is managed through what we call open atlas, right? I'm sure everyone here knows how to log open atlas with your UP mail. The following databases may be useful. Number 1 is Statista. Statista has industry data and market reports. However, I would note that company level data is not part of the UP subscription. So for example, if you're looking at industry level data, let's say food service industry in the Philippines, you can download a PowerPoint file which shows you this data here, and then you're going to look at First, the gross value by general sector, and then distribution of food service establishments, number of people employed, key indicators here, which is a revenue forecast, largest food service companies in the Philippines, and then this is the quick service restaurants, etc. There's a lot of information here, which is quite useful when you're studying a restaurant in the Philippines. And then there's also global type data, where you can get something like this, this is about video games and market data and analysis. So this shows you the video game revenue in the world, and then here this is now by region, and then this is the revenue per user. This is Australia, this is Japan. So this is now a global type study with country level information. Now what else do we have? Well, we have EBSCO Academic Search Ultimate, we have Emerald, we have Wiley Science Direct, and we have Taylor and Francis Online. However, while they are useful for research in 199, and are you taking market research or no? No. Okay, you're not. So, for me, these are useless for 190, right? I mean, things in academic journals are kind of like delayed by a couple of years, because you know how long it takes to publish. So because of that, it's not really that useful in my opinion. Plus, for me, I don't have good results searching for things using their own search engines. I think their search engine is stuck in the 1990s. So it's really not good, and I have better results with Google. Now, we used to have access to EBSCO Business Source Premier. I actually requested it. I said, no, too expensive. It gives us market line industry profiles and complete company analysis. And then we also used to have ProQuest, which has business monitor reports, but alas, we are too poor to afford that now. So, unfortunately, I think the only useful database we have is Statista. If the company is publicly listed, you should go to its corporate website and look for a section called About Us, Investor Relations, or Investors. Now, give me an example. Give me a challenge. Publicly listed company in the US to look for investor relations. Give me a challenge. But it must be public. Sorry, what? Nobody? Okay, then give me any company. US company. Sorry? Nestle is not US. Nestle is Switzerland. Apple. Okay, let's go to Apple. Nestle is in Vevey, Switzerland. So apple.com, right? Okay, so usually I scroll all the way down and I try to find something that says investors or investor relations. Do you see it? Too small. Okay, there's one right here, investors. So once you click that, now you get the investor updates, right? What day is today? 30. So this is not yet done. Okay. So you can see all of their press releases here. And then you see all their quarterly FS here. This is the 10K, which means this is the fourth quarter. 10K is the annual statement, and then 10Q is the quarterly statement. So we can see the SEC filings here, for example. All of these are SEC filings, which is public. And then they have about their governance. Yeah, they have this workers' right assessment. Well, I'm not sure if they're actually doing what they're saying they're doing, but that's what they say. And then you talk about their values. Including environmental reports, if that's important to you. ESG is important. But remember who's the US president. The US president doesn't give a shit about ESG or DEI. So that's not going to be the priority in the next 4 years. Okay, so what I'm saying here is basically all publicly listed companies, their website must have investor relations. They must. So most of them will also post quarterly reports and downloadable PDFs of their annual reports, and you may also be able to download earnings call transcripts in some cases, not all. But my warning to you is do not rely exclusively on data coming from the company, because the company is not going to air their dirty laundry, right? They're not going to talk 100% truth. There's going to be some PR there. So that's something to note. Now, investment sites offer you a one-stop shop for financial data to quickly compare multiple companies at once. Examples include Bloomberg.com, Google Finance, Morningstar, Motley Fool, and Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance was actually the original. And then we have salary comparison sites, which gives you a glimpse of company culture, because things like Comparably, Glassdoor, PayScale, Salary, and Volt, they actually let employees post review about their employer. Anonymously, of course, because there might be retaliation, right? So this is one of the few places where you can look to get a glimpse of their HR policies in the US. Now, many companies, especially outside Philippines, are likely to file a patent or a trademark. Do you know the difference between the two? Is Mickey Mouse a patent or a trademark? None of the above. It's a copyright. Copyrights, patents, and trademarks. So, a trademark is essentially a mark that is associated with your product or your business. So, for example, the company Alphabet, one of their trademark is Google, right? The search engine. And then what is a patent? A patent is some kind of invention that you make, right? There are two types of patents, a normal patent, and the second one is a utility patent, which is a type of process that you patent. So you can patent a process, you can also patent a product. Okay? So why is this helpful? Because if you look at how many patents that a company is able to make, right? That gives you an idea of how efficient they are in terms of internal operations, right? It helps you measure their innovation. So because of this, I would look at the patent metadata. I'm not going to look at the patent itself, like what type of patent it is. I don't care about that. What I, as a consultant looking in, would like to know is that the company, is it filing patents? How many patents does it own? Right? That's important to measure their operational performance. So what websites are useful? First is Global Dossier, which is an international initiative spearheaded by the US PTO, that's a Patent Trademark Office, to kind of like put in a one-stop shop where you look for patents and trademarks. The EU also has their own version. World Intellectual Property Organization, BrandDB, also has a list of brands, and then Google Patents as well as free patents online are also available. Of course, companies in the creative industry would be respectful, would look into having a lot of copyrights, because right now, what is the copyright term? If you write a book, when does that expire and go into public domain? Do you know? You write a book, right? How long How long is it before I can then take your character and then write my own story and then sell it? Typically in the US, it's after you die plus 75 years. So for that reason, that is why Mickey Mouse is currently say public domain right now. Original Mickey Mouse in Steamboat Willie, which means that people are now free to make movies about him being a murderer. That's why there was a Winnie the Pooh slasher film. I don't know if you saw it, but Tigger was not that there because Tigger was introduced later, so you cannot have Tigger yet. But soon he will be also public domain, probably a serial killer also. Yeah, usually people start to make movies about that. I think this year Tintin entered public domain. You know what's Tintin? It's the Belgian journalist, comic book character. So, how about private companies, meaning companies that are not publicly listed? I do not recommend that you study private companies because data is very limited. However, sometimes you have no choice. Why? Because the private company is a competitor. So, let me ask you, if you were to study the toy industry, okay? Toy, not video game, but toy. Who is number one? Mattel, Hasbro? The answer is none of the above. Do you know who is number one? In terms of sales, it's Lego. And Lego is a private company. Not only that, it's not US, it's Denmark. Okay? So if you were to study, you cannot study Lego. You're not allowed to study the leader. But you can study the non-leader, like Mattel or Hasbro. You can study that, but since Lego is the leader, then you have to study Lego. And you might have a hard time. Can you read Danish? Right? And then second, Lego is not required to issue financial statement for public consumption. They still have to file with the Denmark, but it doesn't mean that you get access to it because it's not public. Okay? So because of that, well, your sources of information are a bit more limited if this is your situation. The company website, particularly any blog posts, any press releases, and any white papers that it issues might be of interest to you. But once again, take note that's coming from the company. Second, look at its Wikipedia page and visit all of its references. Third, search for the company for relevant news articles about the private company that you need to study. What patents and trademarks has the company filed, and sometimes what can you find out on the employment recruitment sites like the ones I mentioned before: Glassdoor, Salary.com, Comparably, Payscale, and LinkedIn. Because in LinkedIn, people actually say their company, so you can actually search for what people from that company are saying. So that concludes company level information. Now, how about industry level information? Some companies operate in industries with active trade associations who maintain websites with useful data. So for example, you're studying Mattel or Hasbro, then you can check out the toyassociation.org research and data site for like global sales data, and then you can get data, right? I mean, it's not really detailed data, but that's better than nothing. Would you agree? So US sales data, I mean, this is better than nothing. At least you've got something here, right? So the same thing goes with the video game as well as the restaurants. So for example, if you're studying like Olive Garden, well, not Olive Garden because Olive Garden is the market leader, then you would probably want to look at the National Restaurant Association. I'm not sure if all of this are available. I'm pretty sure that some of this you have to pay. Yeah, I need to provide information. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I need to check this. But I think the joke's on me. Okay, good. So now they have a fake name in their account. Okay, so now I can get something, right? I can get a lot of information from the industry association. But not all industry associations provide this for free. Some of them, they also sell it. So it depends, again, on the company and on the industry that you are studying. Okay? The US government generates a ton of free data. So for example, the US Census Bureau has sectoral economic data, and the Small Business Administration also has some resources which would allow you to do market research and competitive analysis. They actually train you to do that. And then they provide links where you can find information. So second, you can ask ChatGPT Copilot, you can ask Gemini, and you can ask Claude on what it knows about the industry. Claude would be actually comparable to ChatGPT in terms of capability, and of course you might have heard of the new one called DeepSeek, right? Made in China. Just don't ask it about Tiananmen and Vladimir Putin. It's not going to answer you. So let's try Claude. Give me an industry. You want food. Goodness. Wants to log in through email. Okay. Okay. Let's make a new chat. How do I make it? I don't actually use Anthropic that often. I use ChatGPT. So let's say, what can you tell me? You want food, but what particular food? So food is very big. Okay, fine dining industry in the United States. Who are the market leaders? Probably Olive Garden. Oh, okay. I don't know anything about the market leader. How about publicly listed? So there's very few, but you can look at Darden, right? Ruth. And that's basically it. It's I would not recommend actually fine dining. But if you really want to make life challenging, then go ahead. No problem. Okay? So, of course, you must verify everything it says because, chatbots are very good at autocomplete. Okay? But generally, this is open information which is highly likely to be accurate because we're not asking for analysis here. The US Library of Congress has also created a guide on how to do industry research in the US. So for example, here, this is a starting point for you to do industry research. and you can basically use it. Like, what are the basic strategies here? And then what are the how to research, historical, subscription resources, and then webinars, etc. So quite useful. The US government actually has a lot of stuff. That's why I recommend US companies. MSU's Global Insights provide you a general picture of an industry. However, this is only a general picture. It doesn't actually provide you with very helpful data, I would say, because you don't get numbers. You only get this, right? You only get the segments, and then you get the degree of concentration, but you don't actually get anything that is numeric. MarketResearch.com aggregates industry research and provides you with a resource center where you can look for insights. So generally that would be the white papers here. Like if you're looking for a car company, and then you might look at this white paper on chip shortages. Independent research companies sell industry research reports and subscriptions for thousands of dollars, sometimes summarizes their findings in their blogs and press releases, and sometimes they even give you a limited demo, like 2 weeks demo, 2 weeks free. So you can always check these, like Accenture, Gartner, Ibis World, NPD, and PricewaterhouseCoopers. So for insight on macroeconomic trends, you can also check MSCI website. Now, industry ratios are not easy to get given our limited library resources, because most databases like InvestText and ISI is subscription only, but there are a few sources that you can try. First is the CSI market industry ratios. So for example, this is CSI market. And then we are looking at services sector. And then we're looking at restaurants. So here are the restaurants, right? And then you can look at the profitability ratios here. You have net income margin, you have gross profit margin, you have return on equity. So, it's not fantastic, but it's better than nothing. And then we can also look at the industry level, I believe. Yeah, if I were to look at the profitability ratios of the entire industry, it's also here. Industry level. Now, US Census Bureau also has industry level information, such as the revenues and the number of employees, which you can look at the data.census.gov. And then for international comparisons, you look at the UN UNIDO. So UN Industrial Development Organization, which you can look at the data regarding their, for example, wages and salaries. So for example, Afghanistan, and then food products, the wages, salaries paid is a total of this amount, but in terms of the Afghani currency. Available data is very limited for lists of top corporations, but again, it is better than nothing. So these include the Fortune 500 and the Forbes Global 2000. For market share data, be prepared to search for articles in business magazines such as Bloomberg Businessweek, Forbes, Fortune, and The Economist, since this data is usually sold for very expensive prices by market research firms. In fact, this is a career path if you're taking the major in marketing, right? You would do market research and then you would sell your research. Now, that's it for industry level information. Let's look at country level data. I would say that the World Bank is probably all you need. Now, particularly, I'm looking at the World Bank Development Indicators, WDI, where you can look at poverty, people, environment, economy, state markets, and global links such as debt, transparency, refugee status. And you can access it all for free because this is United Nations. World Bank also has the WITS, which gives you very detailed import and export data. Like, if I want to analyze Philippines, so the reporter would be Philippines. So our biggest export is actually machinery and electrical equipment, and then vegetables, metals, miscellaneous, food products, plastic, rubber. Which is surprising, right? We export machines. What do we import? We also import machines, we import fuel, transportation, chemicals, all of this. So for a full list of what you can get from World Bank, you go to datacatalog.worldbank.org, and this is everything that you can find. Honestly, it is all you need. But if you were trying to get, say, forecasts of GDP, then you should look at the IMF World Economic Outlook. So this is the IMF World Economic Outlook. And this one is as of October. So let's look at Philippines. Here all Philippines. Continue. And then I want all of this. So all the way to 2029, prepare report. And here it is. Right? Forecasts. So for example, GDP, constant GDP in pesos, it's forecasted until 2029, and you can basically cite that as your data source when you're talking about economic projections. The Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis provides a number of economic time series from 87 sources, but again, this is US-centric. Now, the US Bureau of Economic Analysis has comprehensive data on the US economy, and Pew Research Center has insights into the trends in American society. Although I think it's not internet data sets, it's just data sets. Yeah. So here are the data sets like religious composition of migrants, Southeast Asia dataset, public opinion survey, American trends. So if you want to find out the socio-cultural factors, then here's where you look. Other repositories includes the OECD Data Explorer, which is, OECD, it's an organization of the top 15 countries. Google Public Data, Open Data Philippines, and Wolfram Alpha. Now, in my opinion, although it is there, this one is not that useful. It's poorly organized and not very useful in my opinion. Like, I cannot even find anything on banking and finance. Like, what would I do with procurement monitoring report? Right, so this is not that helpful. Now, Wolfram Alpha is anything that you want to calculate, like Philippine GDP, like so, and then it provides me with a bunch of information. I want agricultural value added, then here's the agricultural value added. So you might want to try Wolfram Alpha as well. Now for other resources, which I think was covered by this group over here, consider taking an MOOC course, massive online course. Most platforms have courses that you can audit, which means that you can take the course, but you don't have to pay unless you want the certificate. These include Coursera, Udemy, Khan Academy, Udacity, and EDX. You can also learn a lot from business-related podcasts, again covered by this group, such as Business Wars, Freakonomics Radio, HBR IdeaCast, Masters of Scale, and Planet Money. So this basically completes my information. Was it okay? Did you learn something? So now, there's more things that maybe you may or may not want to learn. Questionable resources. Now, first of all is to do a special Google search. Search for the title of a textbook and then type ext:/PDF. Sometimes people are careless enough to upload textbooks for free and then Google found it and then now they can download it from their personal website. That happens. And then there are a bunch of shadow libraries. Now I noticed this group was saying libgen, but did you know libgen initially was like dead for months? So you need to look at this one, Shadow Library Uptime Monitor, for the overall health, right? So these are basically the shadow libraries: Anna's Archive, Library Genesis, Sci-Hub, Z Library, and others. Why are you taking pics? I'm going to post this on Novec. This will be posted on Novec. Updated post. So, Anna's Archive is a book and journal article repository. So, here's how it looks like. Give me a name of a book. Sorry? Give me a name of a book. No, title. Give me a title. Sorry. No rules? This one? Okay. So I have EPUB. I want the PDF version. Okay, download. I'm human. I need to wait 151 seconds. I'm not gonna wait for that, but you get the idea, right? That Anna's Archive is a copy of Library Genesis. The same thing with Z Library. So Z Library, no rules, you say, or give me another title. Give me an author. Author, I need an author. That's a big topic. Mishkin. So I'm going to sort by year. So here. You need to be more specific because labor economics is a very big area. But you get the idea. This is an alternative to Library Genesis, which has become a bit wonky, I would say. Okay. Sci-Hub, I'm sure you all know, but there's an issue with Sci-Hub. They're currently in a lawsuit in India, and they're trying to play nice. So because of that, Sci-Hub has not uploaded anything after 2020. There's nothing new in Sci-Hub after 2020. So if you want to find anything new, you need to look at Anna's Archive, or you need to go to Nexus, search Telegram bot. You know what's Telegram? Okay, I don't need to teach you. So Telegram is also a gateway to find interesting things on the internet. Other questionable resources include BitTorrent, which of course UP knows about and blocks it. You cannot access BitTorrent. I'm pretty sure that if I click on Pirate Bay, I will get flagged by IT. Or any of these, I think, would be flagged. So you should access it from home or using your data. And then most of the good stuff is actually in private invite-only trackers like My Anonymous and Bibliothèque. Do you have an invitation? I'd be interested. But the Mobilism forum has an ebook section. I'm pretty sure this is not blocked. Let me check. Yeah, it's not. So you can get ebooks here. You can request for ebooks like, okay, blah blah blah, right? Cross Stitch, Wanderlust UK, Financial Times, Business Traveler, etc. So there are numerous PDF sharing sites like Ocean of PDF, PDF Coffee, Scribed, Course Hero, and Sudoku. All of these probably require you to upload your own documents before you can download if you don't want to pay for it. That's why we can see syllabi by Cinco and Chavez in there. Uploaded by UP students, and we have seen student projects that are uploaded. If you look, I'm sure if you look, you will find it. Other platforms. Now, you guys are all born after 2000, so I probably have no idea what a news group or a Usenet is. So, never mind. It's old technology that was already there before I was born, 1970s. But it's still around, and that's where the new stuff is actually coming in. If you want latest, that's really the only way. Usenet. Usenet has been eclipsed, but everything has been eclipsed by BitTorrent, but there's still some stuff on eDonkey and Direct Connect. DC++. Again, this is 1990s things. A lot of piracy is facilitated in forums that link to file lockers like G Drive, 4Shared, Mediafire, and Mega. Meaning, they post it there, and then they tell you, okay, this is the link, but it's secret. It's not easy to find. I also heartily recommend JDownloader 2 to get videos from YouTube and from a variety of file sharing sites, but take note that JDownloader only downloads. It does not find. It only downloads for you. Try also giving Reddit's piracy megathread a view because they tell you where to find stuff.
Yes.
And then there are subreddits to request /buy textbooks from r/textbook and r/textbooks. So that's basically it. Do you have any questions for me? Hopefully that was informative. And, well, there are no other questions. Does anyone have anything to say regarding those logos? I saw you first.
We probably is the top 10 level.
Sorry?
And came through that meeting about you planning.
Yeah, but there's a specific phrase that I'm asking you to say.
Publicly is the top.
No. No. Yes. 2 EP bucks. This is what I meant. Yes, these are publicly listed, but what do the numbers mean? So, no other questions. Please give me your peer evaluation form, page 12.